aftermarket is always what feeds an industry, right? Whether it's music with guitars and changing the strings, or podcasting and choosing what mics you want to use and what cameras you want, all of it feeds on aftermarket first. And then you get to be force fed.
Azerbaijani Manette lost everything before he gained anything. Before the cameras and Street Outlaws, no prep kings, his life was shaped by a tragedy that pushed him toward racing and away from a normal future. That hidden chapter explains the man standing beside Farmtruck today, and why his journey carries more weight than most realize. How did a kid who lost everything find the strength to keep racing? And how did personal tragedy transform into professional triumph? Join us as we unveil AZN's heartbreaking past. The family that built a racer. Jeff Bonnet was born into a family that gave him everything, including an early introduction to street racing. His father, Dennis Bonnet, was an American military veteran who served in the Vietnam War, bringing home the discipline and toughness of combat. His mother, Motsu Bonnet, came from Taiwan, giving Jeff his mixed Asian-American heritage, distinctive features, and perspective. Jeff grew up alongside his elder sister, Brenda Bonnet, in a household where cars weren't just transportation. They were a symbol of the family's passion and way of life. Oklahoma City in the 1980s and 1990s had a thriving street racing culture, and Jeff was immersed in it from his earliest memories. The roar of engines, the smell of burning rubber, and the adrenaline of illegal races on empty stretches of road defined his childhood in ways that most kids could never understand. Dennis Bonnet became Jeff's first driving mentor, though their relationship behind the wheel was often turbulent. Jeff himself later admitted that their lessons frequently degenerated into shouting matches and angst, probably due to his erratic driving and lack of road sense as a teenager learning to handle powerful machines. But beneath the frustration was a father teaching his son something precious: how to understand the mechanical heart of an automobile. The pivotal moment in young Jeff's automotive education came while he was still in high school. He desperately wanted his first car, and Dennis agreed to help him buy a 1964 Chevy 2 Nova for $2,800. Dennis loaned Jeff the money with the understanding that his son would work to repay him, teaching responsibility along with mechanical skills. Jeff took on various odd jobs to repay his father, learning the value of money and hard work. But Dennis didn't stop at just buying the car. Father and son worked together in their garage, getting their hands greasy as they made modifications to enhance the Nova's performance. The most significant upgrade came when they transplanted a V8 engine into the Chevy, transforming it from a standard vehicle into one that could compete on Oklahoma's street racing scene. Those hours in the garage, working side by side, were bonding moments that Jeff would treasure for the rest of his life. Motsu Bonnet provided the balance to Dennis's military discipline. She brought warmth and emotional support to the household. For young Jeff, his mother was his source of inspiration and stability, the person he could turn to when racing and teenage life became overwhelming. The Bonnet household appeared to have everything a young street racer could want: supportive parents, the resources to pursue his passion, and a sister who completed their family unit. But tragedy was already lurking on the horizon, ready to shatter Jeff's world in ways he couldn't have imagined. How would losing the two people who shaped him most profoundly change the trajectory of Jeff's life? The double tragedy. In 1997, when Jeff Bonnet was just 16 years old, his mother Motsu began battling cancer. For a teenage boy already navigating the challenging transition from childhood to adulthood, watching his mother fight a disease that was slowly killing her proved devastating beyond measure. Cancer doesn't kill quickly or mercifully. It's a drawn-out battle that forces families to watch their loved ones deteriorate day by day, treatment by treatment. Jeff watched his mother undergo the brutal regimen that cancer treatment demands: the chemotherapy, the radiation, the hospital visits. The moments of hope followed by crushing setbacks. All of it played out during what should have been Jeff's carefree high school years. While his classmates worried about proms and football games, Jeff was confronting mortality and loss in ways that would mark him forever. The tragedy reached its conclusion when Motsu Bonnet lost her battle with cancer. Jeff was still only 16 years old when his mother passed away, leaving him devastated and feeling alone in the world, despite still having his father and sister. The loss of a mother during adolescence creates wounds that never fully heal. She wouldn't be there for his high school graduation, his first real race victory, his future marriage or children. Every milestone would carry the shadow of her absence. For Jeff, his mother's death fundamentally altered his relationship with the world. The person who had been his source of emotional support and unconditional love was gone. The balance his mother provided to his father's military discipline disappeared, leaving a void that couldn't be filled. Many teenagers who lose a parent at such a young age turn to destructive behaviors. Drugs, alcohol, reckless behavior. Jeff could have easily gone down that path. The street racing scene offered ample opportunities for self-destruction disguised as rebellion. Instead, Jeff channeled his grief into his passion for cars and racing, using the skills his father had taught him as both a memorial to his mother and a way to process unbearable pain. But his trials were far from over. The worst was still ahead. Just as Jeff was beginning to process his mother's death and rebuild some sense of normalcy, tragedy struck again. In 2001, Dennis Bonnet died from complications related to a defective heart valve. Jeff, now in his early 20s, had lost both parents before he'd even reached legal drinking age in some states. The man who had introduced him to cars, taught him to drive, helped him buy and modify his first vehicle, and been his primary mentor, was suddenly gone. A defective heart valve is a cruel way to lose someone. Unlike cancer, which gives families time to prepare and say goodbye, heart problems can strike suddenly. One moment the person is there, the next they're gone. The shock and trauma of losing his father compounded the grief Jeff still carried from his mother's death 4 years earlier. With both parents gone, Jeff's only remaining family was his sister, Brenda Bonnet. While they remained close, Jeff found himself essentially orphaned in his early 20s, an age when most people still rely heavily on parental guidance, financial support, and emotional stability. He had to navigate adulthood without the safety net that most people take for granted. The loss of his father hit particularly hard because Dennis had been more than just a parent. He'd been Jeff's introduction to the automotive world, his first racing mentor, and his connection to the street racing community. Every time Jeff got behind the wheel or worked on an engine, he was using skills his father had taught him. The Nova they'd modified together became a precious memorial, a physical reminder of hours spent in the garage together. Jeff also lost the person who could have helped him navigate the dangerous world of illegal street racing. Dennis's military background had provided discipline and structure that might have kept Jeff from making fatal mistakes. Without that guidance, Jeff was on his own in a scene where bad decisions could end in death or prison. It would have been completely understandable if Jeff had given up on racing entirely. The activity was so closely associated with his father that it could have been too painful to continue. But instead, Jeff made the opposite choice. He doubled down on racing, determined to honor his father's memory by becoming the best driver he could be. However, he couldn't do it alone. He needed a new mentor, a new father figure, someone who could teach him what Dennis never had the chance to finish. Would Jeff find that person, or would he spiral into destructive behavior without parental guidance? Finding a new family. Shortly after his father's death, Jeff Bonnet met Sean Farmtruck Whitley at a street race in Oklahoma City. The meeting was the turning point that transformed Jeff from a grieving young man into the AZN that fans around the world would come to love. Farmtruck was already the reigning champion of the Oklahoma City street racing scene, a legend known for his deceptively ordinary-looking C10 pickup truck that concealed serious power under the hood. Jeff, still processing his father's recent death and probably looking to prove himself, challenged Farmtruck to a race. It was a bold move, challenging the established champion, but Jeff had always been confident in his driving abilities thanks to his father's teaching. The race began, engines roared, and when it ended, Jeff had lost. The young challenger had been beaten by the experienced champion. But what happened next defied expectations. Instead of gloating or dismissing Jeff as just another wannabe who'd gotten taught a lesson, Farmtruck started joking around with him after the race. The two began talking about cars, racing, and life. Farmtruck showed Jeff the modifications he'd made to his C10 pickup, and Jeff shared his automotive knowledge, gained from years of working with his father. The connection was immediate. Jeff had found not just a friend, but a mentor and father figure who could continue the automotive education his biological father had started. Farmtruck recognized something special in Jeff, a combination of raw talent, deep knowledge, and infectious enthusiasm that set him apart from the countless other street racers in Oklahoma City. Their friendship quickly evolved into a partnership. Farmtruck needed someone to handle the technical aspects and smack-talking while he focused on driving, and Jeff proved to be the perfect fit. Jeff's ability to work a crowd made him an invaluable asset. Together, they became one of the most formidable and entertaining teams on Oklahoma's street racing scene. Farmtruck took Jeff under his wing in ways that went beyond racing. He passed on his mechanical knowledge, taught Jeff advanced driving techniques, and, perhaps most importantly, provided the emotional support and mentorship that Jeff desperately needed after losing both parents. In many ways, Farmtruck became the father figure Jeff had lost, someone who genuinely cared about his well-being both on and off the track. The relationship worked because it was built on mutual respect rather than on hierarchy alone. Farmtruck recognized Jeff's talents and gave him real responsibilities rather than treating him as just a sidekick. Jeff, in turn, was loyal and dedicated, always having Farmtruck's back, whether they were racing for money or pride. Their partnership would soon extend far beyond Oklahoma's streets, transforming them both into national television personalities. But would their friendship survive the pressures of fame and the intense scrutiny that comes with reality television? Television stardom and racing success. When Discovery Channel launched Street Outlaws in 2013, the show needed personalities who could bring energy, authenticity, and entertainment value to their coverage of Oklahoma City's illegal street racing scene. Farmtruck and AZN were perfect for the role. Their established partnership, genuine friendship, and complementary personalities made them instant fan favorites. The show introduced viewers to a world most had only imagined: high-stakes street races for thousands of dollars, cars that looked ordinary but concealed massive power, and a tight-knit community of racers who lived for the adrenaline rush of illegal competition. But among all the serious racers focused on climbing the list ranking system, Farmtruck and AZN stood out as the comic relief who were also serious competitors. Jeff's role on the show played perfectly to his strengths. While Farmtruck handled the driving, Jeff managed communications, trash talking, and the technical aspects that kept their operation running smoothly. His beaming smile and wicked sense of humor made him instantly likable, the kind of person viewers wanted to succeed. His enthusiasm was so infectious that anyone could see genuine joy on his face whenever he pulled off a successful hustle or won an important race. The nickname AZN became official on the show, a reference to his Asian heritage through his Taiwanese mother. The show also gave Jeff a platform to pursue his own racing ambitions separate from Farmtruck. After a failed attempt at racing lawnmowers, AZN found his own ride, a 1966 Volkswagen Beetle he christened the Dung Beetle. The name was typical AZN humor. The car looked like dung on the outside, but underneath the hood was a 1,000 horsepower turbocharged precision engine with a 650 cubic feet per minute Holley carburetor and Rancho 4-speed transmission. The Dung Beetle represented Jeff's emergence from Farmtruck's shadow. While he remained loyal to his mentor and partner, he wanted to prove he could win races in his own vehicle with his own skills. The car became his signature ride, and watching him develop as a driver, independent of Farmtruck, added another dimension to his character on the show. Street Outlaws also introduced audiences to Jeff's philosophical side. He wasn't just a gearhead obsessed with speed. He was a thoughtful person who understood that racing was about more than just winning. It was about community, loyalty, respect, and pushing yourself to be better. This depth made him relatable to viewers who might never race a car but understood the human emotions driving the competition. The show's success transformed Jeff's life in ways he could never have imagined. The kid who'd lost both parents and had to work odd jobs to buy his first car was now on national television, earning thousands of dollars per episode and building a personal brand worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. How would Jeff translate his television fame into lasting financial security beyond the unpredictable world of reality TV? Building an empire and facing danger. As Street Outlaws' popularity exploded, Jeff and Farmtruck capitalized on their fame by creating multiple business ventures. The most successful was the FNA Firehouse, a merchandise store in Oklahoma, where they sold branded clothing, accessories, and memorabilia related to their racing lifestyle. Fans could purchase everything from t-shirts bearing their images to trademarked hats, mugs, gloves, and specialty items. The FNA Firehouse became more than just a revenue stream. It was a way to connect directly with fans and build a community around their brand. People who could never afford to race or even attend illegal street races could still participate in the culture by wearing AZN and Farmtruck gear. The store allowed them to monetize their television fame in ways that created passive income beyond their per-episode payments from Discovery Channel. They also established Farmtruck and AZN Shop, an automotive studio providing quality work and service. This business enabled them to leverage their mechanical expertise and reputation to serve customers seeking professional work from proven experts. The shop created another income stream while keeping them connected to the hands-on automotive work they'd always loved. These business ventures demonstrated that Jeff had inherited more than just racing skills from his parents. His father's military discipline and work ethic, combined with his mother's entrepreneurial spirit, created someone who understood how to build and maintain successful businesses. The kid who'd worked odd jobs to repay his father for a car had become a businessman with multiple revenue streams. Jeff's estimated net worth grew substantially over the years, with various sources placing it between $300,000 and $1 million, depending on the valuation method and timing. While rumors suggested he earned approximately $20,000 per episode of Street Outlaws, there was never official confirmation of his exact salary. What was clear was that the combination of television work, merchandise sales, automotive shop revenue, and prize money from races had created significant wealth. This financial success represented a powerful triumph over the poverty and struggle that could have defined Jeff's life after losing his parents. Instead of being trapped by circumstances, he'd built an empire that provided not just income, but opportunities to create jobs for others and contribute to Oklahoma's economy. Jeff's racing career hasn't been without its frightening moments. In 2018, During Summer Nats 31 in Australia, Farmtruck and AZN crashed their burnout truck after traveling to participate in one of Australia's biggest automotive events. Working with students at the Canberra Institute of Technology, they'd built an LS-powered burnout machine with a supercharger designed to destroy tires in spectacular fashion. During their run, Farmtruck was behind the wheel when things went wrong. After light contact with the wall, he whipped the truck around for another pass, but it smacked the wall harder due to an apparent steering failure. The crash ended their run and damaged their vehicle, but thankfully, neither Farmtruck nor AZN sustained serious injuries. The crash didn't diminish their enthusiasm for international adventures. The duo has appeared in multiple spin-off series, including Street Outlaws, Farmtruck, and AZN, and Street Outlaws, Farmtruck, and AZN Down Under, taking their unique brand of automotive entertainment to new audiences and locations. These shows allowed them to explore car cultures beyond Oklahoma, while introducing international fans to their particular style of racing and humor. Jeff has also appeared on other automotive shows, including Garage Rehab in 2017, where he was credited as both a street outlaw and a professional street racer. These opportunities demonstrated his versatility and marketability beyond just Street Outlaws, building his reputation across the broader automotive entertainment industry. Jeff's story proves that tragedy doesn't have to define your future, that found family can be as meaningful as biological family. The kid who lost everything found a way to build something remarkable from the ashes of his grief. Do you think his partnership with Farmtruck could have lasted this long without their deep personal connection? How has learning about Jeff's backstory changed how you view his character on Street Outlaws? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.